Well, it has been a very, very long day. It's almost midnight. A lot happened today. So, we mix up with the cedar versus planter thing. Kind of my bad. But we got that planted. We got this planted. And before I could get started on planting this, the guy called me and we reached an agreement. I'm going to lease all his land over here. And like I said, he lives about an hour away, so it's kind of a pain in the ass for him to farm this. Lease to own. So I am leasing a very large section of ground. Most of it's already planted. Big sunflower fields. One fallow field that he's got fallow for wheat. Now he gets to say on what I plant, but he's taking 25% of every crop that we produce, and it goes directly to purchase price. So, and then if it's produces more than an average yield or whatever that crop is for the season, like if wheat's producing higher than that, if they estimate the average is going to be 70 bushel and we're getting 80-90 bushel wheat, then he gets 30%. So yeah, but I don't have to borrow money to buy the land. It might take me a couple of years to pay it all off, but I got land to plant, land to use. So yeah. Anyway, the PDA saves. I got a glitch in this PDA. I might have to get something different. So we got this planted to soybean or sorghum. These fields were already planted to sorghum. They think I'm right. Yeah. So we planted this to soybeans and this to soybeans. This is sunflowers. All right. That's wheat. Okay. So these two fields are the two fallow fields. He wants wheat in them this fall. So yeah, then we got sunflowers on these two fields. There's a hay shed he said I can use up here if I need to. So I don't know, I don't have a lot of hay ground, so just got that and that, and my barn will take care of it unless I find somebody else that's got some hay that they're willing to part with. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, now my problem is the equipment. So I don't know, we'll see what we come up with in terms of a seeder and a planter and a combine. I'm gonna have to lease a combine because there's no way I can do all this with that little bitty Massey Ferguson. It would take too long. So I might sell the Massey and lease a combine when it comes harvest time. But that's where we're at. We're leaving everything like it is. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. It's Sunday. That's where we're at. So tomorrow I'm going to empty the seeder since I own the seed. And that fertilizer I bought that I can't really use right now, but you never know. Might need some dry fertilizer. And then what's left of the fertilizer in that trailer, and then I got to return the trailer. So yeah. Ugh, tired. I can't drive. I just drove in my grass, damn it. I just cut that. Crap. Alright, well, campers. It's about to become an R-rated event as I get ready for my bath. So, we will see you tomorrow, Monday, second week of April. Alright, well, we just unhooked the planter after I washed it off, and we are headed back to the house. Vision equipment, whatever the hell it's called. They got a big freaking export thing too. They do import-export of large cargo. The train, they managed to get the train to stop long enough to load a box car too. So they got an import-export business going on there. Anyway, so I was talking to Ernie about my leasing of the land. He goes, well, the guy that was going to lease mine planted corn and then told me he's not farming anymore and wanted out of the lease. So Ernie asked me if I want to give him the same deal, which is fair. I said, sure. Ernie's got corn on both of those fields, and we're going to need corn for silage. So I'm one step closer to getting the cows in. We're getting things lined up just right. I sold the Massey. The agri people there at the Fent Massey dealer found a buyer for it because it was in such really good shape. I never even used it. I mean, I bought it with the intent of using it, and with the addition of all these extra acreages, it's not going to be something I can use. I mean, I can if I want to spend 15 days harvesting all crops, but I'm going to lease a combine just for the harvest until we can afford to buy our own. But Ernie said that he is getting busier and busier. His son just graduated from high school and is looking for a full-time job. So this is one of those fields right there. It's corn. I just planted it. And the other one's this other field on the other side of the house. So I have hired Ernie's son, Terrence Frederick, to come work for me. Now Terrence is off at he's a Boy Scout. He just got his last scouting level, highest Boy Scout level you can get, I guess. And so he is off at his final Boy Scout camp. He'll be returning here in a couple of weeks, which is fine because we ain't got much to do right now. So he will start after a while. We're not doing much anyway. So now that all the crops are in, we're just kind of waiting for shit to grow. Yeah. At least sunflowers were planted a little bit early, so they'll be ready for the others. But it is what it is. So Ernie said he might have a line on a Kinsey planter in some type of cedar, and he wanted to know if he bought them, if I would do some kind of buying them from him for shares of crops. And that is a great alternative to me. I mean, I don't make much, but on the offhand, I don't have to go finance. So it's kind of like financing it, but I don't have to finance up front. So yeah. We're gonna refill this thing. Check out the gardens. Wow. Good. I haven't been over here in a couple of days. The rocks are growing really well. So are the goaties. So since I sold the Massey, or the Massey combine, I think I'm gonna go in the house and call the bank and use some of that $88,000 I got off the Massey to pay off the Massey swath. So that is what we're going to do. So I will see y'all later. We'll see you probably tomorrow. Bam. So end of the day, we got our planting done last couple of days. So I talked to Tom Merchant, the guy that owns all of this that I'm now sharecropping, leasing, whatever. I did plant this to soybeans. He had already planted this to sorghum. These were already planted to sunflowers. And I planted this to sorghum. And then these were fallow fields that we're going to do wheat on. But I took a look at crop calendar, and we harvest, if we plant it early, we can harvest early in August or early September, right? Then we can immediately plant it to wheat in October, so we can get two crops the same season off of this. And wheat price, or rice prices, I mean, 1960, you know, I mean, shit. We'd be stupid not to do that. So I talked him into it. So we're going to we dry planted it. We're going to dry crop it. They're not going to have, not any flooded rice fields. We're dry ricing it. From what the co-op guy says, there's not that much of a difference between the yield. You get a little more yield if you flood it, but dry ricing it. Dry rice is what they're calling it. Dry planting it, rice. You know, so looking at prices, we're harvesting September. We'll get a pretty good price. I mean, right now, you know, we're down here, but come September, we can get a good price for our rice. And then immediately, you know, plant wheat in October. So yeah, we get two crops off of that. And Tom also told me something. He said there's an old barn up there, and he hadn't been there for years, but he thinks that there's still some old tractors from his grandpa who lived out there on the farm. he says they're out there, and if they're out there, they ain't running, or they're in really bad shape. But he said, if you can get them running, you can have them. He says, I can pretty much do whatever I want to do with this. And he says, it's a big barn, so I can use it for hay. And then there's a newer open shed, open hay barn out here. And then he said there's a pond that is used for irrigation that is still there, and he had some crawfish traps that he had out there, and he said they're probably still out there, a little boat out there and whatnot. So he said we can run those crawfish. He says it's full of crawdads. Yep, there's a boat. So he said we can. So the traps are probably still out there. So you have to look for little bobbers if they're out there. He said it ain't very deep, so you can get out there. And so we might put some crawdad traps out there to see what we get. But this is a pretty big barn. It's in decent shape. Could use a coat of paint, but you know. I see hay bales. More hay bales. Uh-oh, I see a truck. Let's go take a look. Oh my. Yeah, I was thinking not good shape. 100% damaged. Old 7010. Let's start. Hey, it started right up. Almost out of fuel and very damaged. Very damaged. This truck start. Nope. You're dead as a doornail. I got this old 7010. Bang it. Start. But it's also very damaged. They got new batteries in them. Look at that. Somebody put new batteries in them. Look at this old McCormick. Holy crap. Nope. Don't start. I'll have to get Eddie to come out and look at it. Well, we got some hay out here. Big old basil hay. Well, dude, we might be able to fix these up and sell them. Same with this truck. I mean, the body's in good shape. Alright. Well, I ain't gonna get much out of them, but 5,000 is 5,000. Once again, my bank balance is jacked up again. The bank says the app is not working right. So, yeah. Well, I'm gonna call Ernie. Tell him about our find. And, yeah. I'm gonna see if we can get those puppies over here and get them over here and get them running and see what's what. So, alright, campers. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications for new episodes. Thanks for watching. Kansas Farm Guy.